Okay, so I want to start this talk by asking you all something. Have you ever been dragged away from something you believe in? Have you ever been dragged away from your values, from what you really think, from your education, just to fit into some social group? Because I have. You see, learning from our mistakes is something essential in the journey of finding yourself. Something I didn't know back when I was a freshman. Back when I started high school, I used to hang out with the wrong kind of people. People who felt better than others, who felt the right to be mean to each other and to everyone else around them. I was a part of that. I am not claiming that I was any better then. I am not claiming that I am any better now. But I had to learn the hard way, because one day, out of nowhere, they stopped talking to me. So I wasn't just alone by myself, but also with my actions, with my behavior, and everything great and super wrong that I have done in the influence of those people. This is why it's so important to understand that the school environment affects us in a much greater place than we think. We get to try to convince ourselves that we're part of something. We pretend that we're part of something just to fit in, just to don't get bullied or don't get like in the wrong eye of everyone. So we tend to put on a mask. So now I'm gonna ask you, have you ever had to put on a mask yourself? Have you ever had to hide who you truly are, what you truly believe in, what you truly like doing, music, your style, what you're passionate about? Have you ever had to hide that because you're scared of being judged? It's pretty easy to get into that scene, because us teenagers are pretty vulnerable to every comment, to every interaction. We care too much about what people think, about what other people will think about us and say about us. But it's so hard to find that peace with yourself when you're vulnerable. And that's what us teenagers are, vulnerable. So we tend to make mistakes and just habits, people, and things that make us super bad around us as we are teenagers. And it takes the words out of us. We tend to recreate and normalize these actions as if it was something normal, because we get taught that. We get told that if you do this thing and everything, you will get recognized, or people will laugh, people will clap. You don't get how many times I had to just sit there and laugh and pretend that the joke they said about me or about someone else was so funny, because I wanted to be a part of it. It's the human thing. It's the human nature wanting to fit in, as I did once. So it's really sad the way that we get it so normalized and we replicate those actions that were taught to us. And this obligates us to, as I said, repress ourselves, the greatest parts of ourselves. If you like music, you tend to pretend you don't. If you are super into fashion, you pretend you don't, and you tend to hide your style, who you really are. As I said, put on a mask and pretend you can be like any other person. And not everyone is the same. We have our own essence and our own thoughts, but we don't show it because we're scared about what they're gonna say. So why is this so important? When you face the worst parts of you, you get to understand and forgive yourself. It's super easy to just blame the other into a problematic. When we fight, we used to think we're in the right place the whole time. We're not brave enough to face our mistakes and make amends from them. And what I mean to face yourself, I mean the great parts. If you love doing something, if you're passionate about something, just chase it and be really proud of that. And the worst parts, I mean, working what you're not proud of. Work on yourself, do something for yourself, read a book, be better in anything that makes you uncomfortable to yourself. But that's the first part, facing it. So it's uncomfortable to face yourself, as I said. Not everyone is brave enough to look into the mirror and see their flaws and go through life with that. We think that if when we face our mistakes and stuff, we're just that. We don't see our whole person, but just our mistakes. And not everyone is mature enough to see the worst and the great parts of yourself. So, what if we want to find this peace? Why is it so hard? It's a huge step, but we have to amend these mistakes. Not only the ones you committed towards other people, but to yourself. The times you've been disloyal to yourself, the times you've been in the wrong. Heal the times that you have let other people be mean to you, that you have passed towards other people, and just understand and do something better about it. And this phrase is something that we hear a lot. Like, it's super cliche, I know, but enjoy the ride is the most essential thing in the journey of healing yourself. And what I mean, I'm going to give you a cute example that I saw a few weeks ago. This is Paradox of Praxis by artist Francis Alice. Okay, he made this work. He made videos and photos of him just like throwing a cube of ice, as you can see, into Mexico City until it was fully melted. You may think, what's the point of this if it's going to melt eventually? Well, he wanted to show with this that it's not always the result and the things that we gain, it's not always visible to everyone, but to ourselves. It's the things that we learn in the way that we take with ourselves, and we'll be able to be better because of that. The things we learn into the way of life. And my next point is, as Sir Francis Bacon said, knowledge is power. In school, we get taught that if you get a degree, if you're in college, you'll have better opportunities of finding a job. And that's pretty true. Education will open up doors and give you a better life. I can assure you that. But knowledge does not only give you economic liberty, as we get taught. It gives you liberty of thinking. It gives you freedom of thinking, of having your own free will, of having your own opinion. How can you be so sure about an idea if you haven't done research, if you haven't been open to listen to other people's opinions, to seek other people's mind? How can you create your own opinion, your own fundamental opinion, if you haven't learned from anything? If you're not able to hear the other person's point of view, if you're not here to hear the other parts of the story. That's what makes us our own person, being able to take everything that we see and everything that that we have access to. As I said, education will make you free. Free from yourself, free from believing everything, free from people getting over you, free from everything that you can think of. So, doing research will give you a personality, a huge statement, and something to believe in. Knowledge makes you behave better towards everyone, even in education, even in the way that we speak, even in the way I'm talking to you right now. Will make you a better behavior in every single thing that you can imagine. But not everyone is brave enough to face. Cinema, literature, fashion, culture will give you an identity. But not everyone is brave enough to see the world afterwards. Not everyone is brave enough to see the reality, because reality is harsh. What it's really happening in the world is harsh. What really happens to us is harsh, and not everyone is brave enough to open up their eyes and be gentle about it. So I'm gonna end this presentation by asking you, are you brave enough to embrace it? Are you brave enough to embrace yourself, the great and the worst parts? I want you to think about it. Thank you.